The Dodgers beat the Mets in the NLCS to advance to the World Series where they can take on the Yankees. We're breaking out all the latest Dodgers news here on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers win!
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam!
It's a double for Freddie.
Monkey magic!
They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020!
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show on the internet. My name is Doug McKain, credentialed member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor, subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and also let us know down below in the comment section what are your big takeaways from the Dodgers series win over the NLCS in the Mets series. So definitely let us know down below in the comment section. Also, if you haven't yet, follow us on all our social media channels and also pick up that new Kike Hernandez WDGAF shirt. This is the mindset. He basically almost was slipping up after the game. I was going to say it again to Dave Vassay, but clearly someone talked to Kike and he didn't say it. But he also said it was definitely the mindset, the mantra of this team. That's definitely what's going on. You can definitely pick one of these up at gearup.la. Every color you can imagine. You got Dodger blue, light blue, navy blue, charcoal black. Definitely go cop one of these. You got the Kike goggles. You got the logo with the belt bump on those. So definitely go pick one up at gearup.la. And we got a jam-packed show, guys. We are still celebrating that Game 6 win. I'm so happy that we are not preparing for a Game 7. A Game 7, we would have had Walker Buehler on the mound. The bullpen could have been taxed. You just never know what's going to happen in a Game 7. You never know how those games are going to play out because one, it's a Game 7. Also, it is Major League Baseball, and it's very tough to predict the outcome. Everyone says the two best words in sports are Game 7. I don't believe that, especially when it's your team. You don't want a Game 7 because they're pressure-packed and you want to avoid that at all costs. That's why I said yesterday that it was a must-win in Game 6 because yesterday the strategy, the bullpen roulette, they hit on it, despite the fact that every single Dodgers reliever dealt with base runners, had some issues at times. They still were able to get the job done behind an explosive offense that carried this team throughout the postseason. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how this postseason roster is going to evolve heading into the World Series. Are reinforcements on the way out of the bullpen? Looks like there's a good chance that they are. Will we say something on the position player side? And would you want that even if it is an opportunity? We're going to talk about that. But first, we got my man, Mr. Tony Taters, Antonio in the mix, back in the studio. Antonio, just what was it like yesterday? What were the emotions watching that Game 6? I know you were a wreck, but how you feeling today, a day after? You're still processing? Has it sunk in? Dodgers-Yankees, the Dream World Series. We've got it.
Oh my gosh. Noel can tell you I was really nervous. I wasn't even talking to anybody yesterday, but you know, this is revenge for 2015, bro. Daniel Murphy, dude, that was such a horrible. Tommy Edman was their Daniel Murphy, you know what I mean? He was the bane for them. So it felt good to get that 2015 payback. I'm excited for this team. Hardcore is going to be one of the classic. My first year working here, bro. Dodgers-Yankees World Series. I can't complain. I'm so excited. Yeah. So excited.
Yeah, no, that definitely. Honestly, you could go back to the JD Drew slide in 2004. I mean, the 2005 series. I mean, there's always these Dodgers-Met series throughout the years that, yeah, look, I mean, they're not rivals because, of course, the Dodgers have their rivals, but the Mets want to be the Dodgers so bad. I mean, you have Stephen Cohen, a rich owner who's willing to spend big and open up the checkbook to get superstars. I think the Mets have learned is the Dodgers have made it look easy.
Yes, sir.
But the Dodgers, everyone sees the Shohei Ohtani signings. They see the Mookie Betts trades and signs. They see the big moves. What they don't see is the development behind the scenes, the resources they pour into their farm system to go and develop guys. Yesterday, Will Smith hit the big two-run home run. Will Smith was incredible, and he had been slumping all series long. He comes up big. And then you go out there and you have these reclamation projects that give you contributions. Guys like Anthony Bonda, also Ben Kasperius pitching key innings. So the Dodgers, they've laid the blueprint, but a lot of people try to do what the Dodgers do, but they skip the part where they get to the World Series or they win the World Series or they're able to have success with it. So we got 4 more wins, and hopefully this team, I've called them the incomplete elite for years now. And that is that, yes, you won the World Series in 2020, and you got some people that try to dismiss that, delegitimize that, minimize that. We know it was legit, but to truly shut all these haters up for good, once and for all, you had this road to the postseason where you beat a Padres team that most experts expected to win that series. Then you beat a Mets team that had Grimace on their backs, right? You had the OMG. Now it's oh my God out of the postseason for the Mets team, right? You have that group that went out there and busted their butts to overcome these injuries. They did with a great offense. So you do that. You look at the path to the World Series. You finish with the best record. You beat the Padres. You beat the mighty Mets. And then if you beat this Yankees team, which, yeah, it's not the 1998 Yankees, right? It's not the best Yankees team we've ever seen. It's still the Yankees. It's still a team that has an MVP in Aaron Judge, the hitter of his generation in Juan Soto. Juan Soto's at bat against Gaddis was one of the most brilliant things you'll ever see. Spitting on pitches, the entire bat gets that heater, hits that bomb. Juan Soto is going to be a problem for this Dodgers team. Got Giancarlo Stanton, Notre Dame High School's own. So you have a lot of talent on that roster. It's the Yankees. If you beat this Yankees team after everything you've overcome, this is going to put the Dodgers on the true mountaintop where they are the preeminent franchise in all of Major League Baseball. They're the franchise that everyone's going to be chasing. The Yankees were the old evil empire. The Dodgers are the new evil empire. And that's how it's going to be for the next decade with Shohei Ohtani if you're able to get that dub. But we also got my man, Mr. Young Lotto, Noise by Noel. Anytime you see all the fire on our social media channels, on the IG, this is the guy behind it. Big time social media superstar, but also a massive Dodger fan as well. And the thing about Noel is he's got his pulse on the fans because you guys know IG comments. It's like, have you seen that meme? It's like me laughing at the Instagram post. You're like, ha, 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 ha. And me laughing at the comments, like, ha, 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 ha. Yep. You know, you watch for the comments. The comments for Dodgers fans, it's very high, very low, lots of roller coaster of emotion type vibes. But what has been the whole pulse of the fan base as far as just winning this NLCS and heading to the World Series?
Yeah, everybody's really excited. I mean, especially Dave's speech after the game when he said, you guys want to parade in LA, 4 more wins. That's pretty much the mentality all around. Everybody's celebrating. Everybody had a good time last night. But I think the whole fan base is just looking ahead to this World Series, to this generational matchup against the Yankees. And I mean, just getting ready. We're so close, but also when you're that close, you don't want to get too attached to the idea of actually winning the full thing because you could let yourself down. But I mean, it's time. It's time for the city to show out in these first 2 games, hopefully get these first 2 wins, and then, head over to Yankee Stadium. It's going to be popping over there. But great time with my man Tony covering the game yesterday here at DNHQ. Woo! So, yeah, special night last night.
Absolutely. It was a very, very special night. I think we'll start right there with the Dave Roberts speech that he made. Dave was fired up. And I think you look at Dave Roberts, who, of course, we know, look, you are fans. You have every right to question the manager. And yes, oftentimes managers, they get too much credit. They take too much blame. You only give them credit when things go, we only blame them when things go wrong. You don't give them credit when things go right. And I think with Dave Roberts, I think the big takeaway yesterday was how much the fans were embracing him in the stands. I mean, I think Dave Roberts, I've always said he has to win 2 World Series to win 1, to win over this fan base. I think he's on his way there. But I also think, too, is that the fans that have watched this entire season play out, yes, we understand that when you commit $1.4 billion in the offseason and you sign the most coveted free agent in the history of the sport in Shohei Ohtani, and then you make more moves. You get Yamamoto, you get Glasnow, you get Teoscar, you do this masterclass of an offseason. Your expectations are a World Series, but if you truly follow this team, you've seen the injuries. You've seen them overcome having Mookie Betts as your everyday shortstop for the first part of the season. For the first time in his career, he's playing that position and he's north of 30. There's all these little subplots this season that they were able to overcome. And I think that just listening to the players, multiple players have came out at this point and said how impactful that meeting they had in the Dodgers clubhouse after it was revealed that Tyler Glasnow was going to be done for the season. And Dave Roberts told them, no, there's Hall of Famers, there's all-stars. There are still enough talent in this clubhouse to win the whole thing. And that was truly the start of this true World Series run with this group, with the additions they had, and they haven't looked back. And the thing about Dave Roberts is he goes out there, he instills confidence in his players. And yeah, it's easy to instill confidence in Shohei Ohtani, right? It's easy to do that with Mookie Betts. Let's not forget, though, when people were throwing Mookie under the bus, they were making graphics saying milk box Mookie and Mookie's missing. Dave Roberts said, it's a small sample size, and he's going to get through this. It's the confidence that he puts in his players. And here's Dave Roberts talking to the Dodgers Stadium crowd after the Dodgers clinched the World Series appearance, and they won the pennant for the first time at Dodger Stadium since 1988.
I'll tell you guys, first off, I want to congratulate the greatest fans in the world, the Los Angeles Dodger fans. And Tom, I'll tell you this. This was an organizational win right here. From ownership, scouting, player development, the training staff, all these guys. We had young players step up. Andrew and his staff by way of trade. At the deadline, we had guys, signing guys. Everybody stepped up. Like I said before, I've never believed in a group of guys more than I believe in these guys. And most importantly, they believe in each other. And hey, you guys want a parade in Los Angeles? 4 more wins.
Dave, you've earned it. The Warren C. Giles National League Championship trophy belongs to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
You heard him right there. 4 more wins, and that's been the mindset of the players, is they want a parade, and that is what this city needs. And we've seen a lot of firsts this postseason. The first time they've done a lot of these things in quite some time, and clinching at home and having the success that they have, nothing would epitomize that more than a parade. Can you just imagine this team in Los Angeles? I mean, it's going to be a record-breaking parade, but we have a lot of work to do before getting there. But let's rewind a little bit and look at how this Dodgers team got there, and we're going to do our big takeaways from the NLCS. And first big takeaway from the NLCS win is, for so many years, this Dodgers offense in the regular season, they look like juggernauts. They look like superheroes. And then when the postseason rolled around, it looked like they forgot how to baseball, that the bat did not translate. The momentum from a regular season did not carry over. Not only has it carried over, the offense is performing better than it has in the regular season. Now, one of my keys to a postseason win against the Mets was, hey, just have your regular season offense match that, have it translate. Just give me the regular season offense in the postseason. It's been better. It's the upgrade button. In the regular season, the Dodgers averaged a little over 5 runs per game. That was towards the top of Major League Baseball, right at the top. In the NLCS, they averaged 6.7 runs per game. You just look at the wins. I mean, you had 9 runs in game 1, 8 in game 3. You had 10 in game 4. You had 10 in the clincher. I mean, this is not normal. They scored 46 runs in 6 games against the Mets. That was more than any team ever in the National League in any postseason series ever. And that's in 6 games. Imagine if you had game 7, which I would never wanted, right? But imagine if you had 7 games, this would be out of reach for a long time. That was 2 more runs than the Braves scored in the 1996 NLCS. The 2002 Giants also scored 44 runs in that series. And guess what? Both of those series went 7 games. So when you look at average per game, this was truly historic offensive production. For once, we got all-time great offensive production, and that's how you overcome basically having 1.5 starters, basically having a bullpen where they've been dominant, but it's not like they were perfect yesterday as well. So the biggest reason, the number one biggest reason why the Dodgers were able to win this series was because of the offense showing up. The offense absolutely carried the load. And of course, people are going to say it's the bullpen. People are going to say it's me pitching. Absolutely. When it's the group project, they definitely showed up and they did their part. There's no doubt about that. But if it wasn't for the offense is what dictated the bullpen moves and gave Dave Roberts the confidence to not punt, right? And to not go out there and wave the white flag in certain games. And people will say they did in game 2, they did in game 5, but still, you didn't have unlimited bullets to work with. So the offense scoring the way they did throughout this series, it's all-time stuff. This is not just, oh, this was good for the Dodgers. This is all-time stuff for the history of Major League Baseball. Only 3 times in a league championship series has a team had a run differential of at least 20 runs. You had that 96 Braves, but a plus 26 run differential over the Cardinals. 2017 Dodgers, a plus 20 run differential over the Cubs. And then this 2024 Dodger team, a plus 20 run differential over the Mets. They dominated this team offensively in the wins. And you look at the plate discipline. How'd they get it done? The plate discipline is what allowed them to get more base runners, to work pitch counts up, to get starters out of the game. The Dodgers had a .395 team on base percentage this series. They had 42 walks. 42 walks. Great number. 42 walks. That's an all-time record for all of Major League Baseball in a series. So many walk decoys starting to get jealous. The only other postseason teams in the history of Major League Baseball that were able to draw 40 walks in a series, it's only happened a couple times. You had the Cardinals in 2011 and the team now known as the Guardians back in 1997. So the point of this is not just your normal, okay, this team's on a heater in the postseason. No, we're witnessing a historic all-time run by a Dodgers offense that doesn't need to rely solely on Shohei Ohtani or Mookie Betts. You have other guys in the lineup that can step up in big spots. And yes, they're not all going to be hot at the same time. Every now and then, guys are going to go on cold streaks. But one of the big themes yesterday is guys that were slumping came out of those cold streaks and they showed up. Teoscar Hernandez, over 18 this series. He hits that big single off the wall, 395 feet. And yes, he should have been running. He kind of pimped it a little bit. He thought it was gone. He'll learn from that. But still, the production was still there. And then Tommy freaking Edman, the MVP. Tommy Edman. Who had Tommy Edman winning the NLCS MVP on their bingo card for the Dodgers? Answer, no one. And Andrew Friedman, he jokingly told reporters after the game that they told Tommy Edman after the trade that it was NLCS or bust and that the Dodgers don't bust. So I'll give myself a bro for that one. Bruh. But yeah, the truth of the matter is you got to give Dave Roberts and his organization all the credit in the world for putting him in that spot, the cleanup spot. I mean, he had never backed cleanup in his entire career, and he does it for the Dodgers in their biggest game of the season, and he comes up in a big spot. Gets the double early, gets the 2-run home run later, and he was the difference. The other big takeaway is, though, as good as Tommy Edman was, and yes, he deserved the NLCS MVP, and you saw Mookie Betts. He was excited. He was happy for him. But you could have made the case that Mookie Betts deserved the MVP as well. And that's not taking anything away from Tommy Edman. I think he deserved the award, especially because he got the big hits in the big spots. And he's also playing a premium position, the shortstop spot as well. But the fact that you have multiple guys that you can make the case for that could have won that award lets you know how dynamic and deep this lineup was during the series. Mookie Betts had an 1182 OPS. He had a 4 RBI game in game 4. That was the peak Mookie postseason game. He had 9 RBIs, 4 doubles, and hit 2 home runs. Led the Dodgers with 2 homers this series. Shohei Ohtani, early on, it was, Shohei Ohtani can't hit when the bases are empty. What's wrong with Shohei Ohtani? Do we got to move him down the lineup? Shohei Ohtani had 2 home runs. He also reached base 17 times, had 8 hits and 9 walks. He scored 9 runs this series. Those 9 runs, that's a Dodgers postseason franchise record. That's more runs than any Dodgers player has ever scored in a postseason series. If you're wondering, Corey Seager did score 8 against the Braves in the 2020 NLCS. So, yes, it wasn't the MV3 with Freddie Freeman, but the MV2, they showed up. And even during times when there wasn't production, just having Shohei at the plate, just having Mookie at the plate, it puts so much pressure on the opposing pitcher that by the time they get to Teoscar, by the time they get to Max Muncy, by the time they get to Tommy Edman, they've had high stress pitches. And that all accumulates during the course of a start, and it allows other guys to eat, other guys to have success. I mean, Derek Jeter, he pointed out before the game a really interesting stat about Shohei Ohtani during the season, how Shohei Ohtani, when Mookie's batting behind him this year, I mean, he's hitting almost 320. When Mookie wasn't hitting behind this year, he was hitting below 300 in the 280 range. So where guys bat in lineups when it comes to lineup configuration, how good that player is and how much stress he puts on the opposing pitcher, it definitely has a major, major impact. So the big takeaway right there, the superstars showed up. It wasn't like last season when Mookie and Freddie combined for one hit in the NLDS when they got swept by the Diamondbacks. It wasn't like 2022 when Mookie struggled that series, when Trey Turner had some big moments but defensively struggled, and still when the big time at bats were there, he didn't come through. You need your superstars to show up. I mean, look at Juan Soto for the Yankees. He hits the big bomb to ultimately end that series. Look at Giancarlo Stanton. Look at Aaron Judge. Yes, you need the role players to show up, but at some point when the rubber meets the road, the big dogs got to eat, man. And the big dogs aren't just in the bullpen, right? It's the top of that lineup right there. And certainly Shohei and Mookie did just that. They showed up in a big way. And another big takeaway is the bullpen roulette worked. And you got to give credit not only to Dave Roberts, not only to the pitchers themselves, but the entire organization for the player acquisition and having the depth, finding guys like Anthony Bonda, having guys like Brent Honeywell, Ben Casparius's development this season, Edgardo Henriquez going from low A all the way to the show in the postseason. Landon Knack, yes, he did have success in game 2, but the fact that he's a rookie that's even in this mix, when you look at all the guys they miss, and the fact they had injuries heading into this series with no Alex Vesia, Joe Kelly, or Brusdar Graterol. I mean, this is an organizational win for this team. And I think when you look at the overall bullpen, and you just have to look at game 6. Game 6 to me epitomizes the all the dogs mentality of this bullpen, because they didn't have their best stuff. They weren't dominating every single hitter. They found a way to grit and grind their way in big spots. I mean, you look at Michael Kopech, Blake Trinan, they all had multiple batters that reached base, but you never saw multiple runs. That's the big difference. If you're going to allow multiple base runners, you got to limit the damage. And you look at Michael Kopech in that first inning, I mean, he didn't have the command early on. Then you had the play with the infield back where Chris Taylor's trying to make the barehanded play. I mean, that's a situation where if you have Freddie Freeman in there, maybe Freddie Freeman makes that play. There's also a play later in the game where Nimmo ran out the double play potential. With Freddie Freeman's length, he probably gets that too. So, I mean, some of the defense last night, even though it was good, you kind of look at Freddie Freeman, how important it is to have him in there. And you also just look at how this bullpen, how it played out. And last night, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. I mean, you look at giving up 5 runs. You look at that and you say, well, how many runs did you score? And it's 10. And then you feel better about it. But the big difference about this Dodgers bullpen and the ones we've seen in the past was, in the past, they were the Murphy's Law of baseball, right? Everything that could go wrong will go wrong. Now it's the Yipram's Law. That's Murphy spelled backwards, by the way. Everything that can work will work. And it's not just by, I'm going to strike out the side. And that, I think, goes for this entire team in general. I mean, you look at the bullpen. Michael Kopech, Blake Trinan, 7 relievers total yesterday. They all combined to get the job done. And you look at the at-bat. Ben Casparius, for example, going up against Brandon Nimmo. They got 4 outs from Ben Casparius. And you look at the at-bat with Brandon Nimmo. 2 on, 2 out, a 1-run lead. They had Ben Casparius out there in a 1-run ball game. If I told you that in spring training, you would say, wait a minute, who the hell's Ben Casparius? That's what you would have said to me. that bank his spirits out there in a 1-run game. And the pitch he threw to Nimmo, it was a 4-seam fastball right in the heart of the plate. It was a meatball. And what happens? He flies out, right? What can go right did go right. In the past, maybe that's a 3-run home run and the Dodgers are reeling. All these little tiny micro moments, things are just going right. And that's what happens when you win the World Series. That's what happens when you go to the World Series. The baseball gods are on your side, right? The breaks, you get them. And they're certainly benefiting. And I think, too, when you combine just 10 out of 10 relentlessness, a winning mentality, this whole job's not finished, this whole WDGAF mindset they have, when you combine that with the fact that this team absolutely loves each other. I mean, again, Kike Hernandez talking about being blood brothers at some point, the support they have with each other, the chemistry of this team with analytics, with putting themselves in the best position from a matchup standpoint to optimize them. When you combine that with the breaks, that's how you get a team to the World Series. And they're certainly benefiting from that. Another example, Anthony Bonda facing Tyron Taylor. 2 outs, bases loaded, and you're leading by a run. And then they load the bases after he gets hit in the back of his foot with the slider. What does Bonda do? Strikes out McNeil. And McNeil swings and misses at a pitch way outside. Evan Phillips against Jesse Winker. Bases loaded again. 3-run lead. A 3-run lead with the bases loaded. If this is teams in the past, feels like something bad is going to happen in that situation. Let's talk Marwin Gonzalez. Let's talk about Alex Bregman. Let's talk about Steve Pearce. Let's talk about Juan Soto and Anthony Rendon. Do you realize how I don't even have to describe what happened in those situations? I just name those names and you know the moments I'm talking about, right? What happens in that situation? Evan Phillips, he strikes out Jesse Winker with the bases loaded and he used that sweeper on the, well, actually he gets him to fly out with the bases loaded, use that sweeper to get that fly out to left. And then Daniel Hudson and Blake Trinan. I mean, they were going up against the top of that Mets lineup. They were still only up 3 runs, and Hudson struck out Lindor swinging with the runner on first in a 1-run game. Blake Trinan struck out the side up 3, all with nasty sweepers. The bullpen held that team to 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and they stranded 13 runners on base. So big time shout out to that Dodgers bullpen, getting it done by any means necessary. But let's dive into the comments here. We got Tabari Quarez 499. What I wouldn't give to hear Vin call this year's World Series. Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. I mean, Vin Scully definitely watching from upstairs for sure. We got Jose Machado, $2 super chat. DM, I'm scared of the Yanks. Help me feel better. Well, hold that thought. Well, I got my early thoughts on the Yankees in a little bit. And the Dodgers can beat this Yankees team. They certainly can. And they got to do it in a lot of the same ways they've had success in the first couple of rounds of this season, of the postseason. The Sandwich 999 on Fangraphs and Baseball Savant. This Saber Matrix says D-Max torta consumption is still not high enough. Hey man, I'm up to 2 a day, maybe do 3 a days. I love me some tortas. I'll give you a little fire take for that one. A $2 super chat from Philip Fountain. Appreciate that. Ismael Sanchez, $10. I agree with Muncie. Brent Honeywell was crucial in winning game 6 by jumping on the grenade on game 5 and taking almost 5 innings and live batting practice for our lineup. Yeah, I mean, Brent Honeywell is turning into Dodgers lore, a Dodgers legend, if you will, because of all the things he does for this team that you do see and the ones that you don't see. And if you haven't yet, you should absolutely watch Brent Honeywell's interview and Max Muncie's interview with AM570's David Vassay. It was classic stuff. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. And we have a clip from it right here.
Little story for you, all right? This guy threw, what was it, 4 innings? 4 2/3 for us in New York. He came out of the game. What did I tell you?
He said, I want us game 6.
Wow. And you were right. How much does Brent Honeywell mean to this team? Just everything he brings.
He has a dog. He has a dog. Our whole bullpen's dogs, but this guy, put him in any position. Hey, you need 2 outs? He's got you. You need 3 innings? He's got you. This guy don't care. Hey, you need someone to throw live BP in San Diego? He's got you. This guy might have gotten Mookie Betts right, because he threw him live BP. I don't know if you guys knew that. He threw him live BP because he wasn't active at the time. He threw him live BP. Mookie Betts started going off.
Did you throw him a screwball?
No, I fed him down the middle and said, crack that shit out of the ballpark. That's what I said. I told all three of them, I'm throwing it down the middle, and I want you to hit it as far as you can. That's awesome.
I mean, just some of the highlights of that. I mean, that is an epic post game locker room celebration interview by David Vassay. But the favorite thing is when Honeywell jumps in on the conversation when Max Muncy is talking about the bye and how the team was spending time with each other, and that you have all off season to be great dads and great husbands, and they're spending eight hours a day with each other, just like eating great food and watching the games and playing ping pong, all that funny stuff. And Honeywell just goes there. He's like, this is it. This is the reward. Playing the best of the best. Like, wasn't even connected there. But yeah, and it was just yeah, he's Honeywell's a special guy. And like, honestly, the confidence that, that's the thing about Mookie Betts. I mean, I'm being in that clubhouse, you would think Mookie Betts would be this, okay, like, I'm carrying myself as just too cool for school. I'm a superstar. I don't talk to the 26 man on the roster. I mean, you see Mookie chopping up with every single person on the team. And I think that is a testament to his leadership style. People think Mookie's not this vocal leader. Yeah, but he also gives everyone the same type of treatment as far as, hey, you're going to help us find a way to win. You're going to be pivotal to this team's success. And I think that Brent Honeywell being the guy to throw BP to Mookie, and Mookie getting himself on track by having those 300 swings off the batting practice and machine, and also going against Brent Honeywell, we'll look back and say, look, I mean, that's kind of one of those moments there, because Mookie's turnaround this postseason is epic. I mean, Mookie could have easily won NLCS MVP. I mean, Mookie's happy. He's smiling. He's in a free and easy place. Baseball doesn't look like it's hard right now for Mookie Betts. And Brent Honeywell doing his part for that, it's just great. And I think it's just kind of one of those examples too. I mean, you look at the vibe check. I mean, we could talk about stats all day long. You guys, I love to do that. But this team just passes the vibe check. Okay? This is the kind of team that looks like, okay, we're going to go to work with each other, right? Yeah, we're great coworkers, right? You guys know you have those friends who you guys love them at work, you cool coworkers, but after that, you don't call them, you don't care about them, you go your separate ways, right? This is the kind of team that they go to work with each other and then they go to the bar with each other after work, right? This is the team that kind of passes that vibe check with that, with the way that they all care about each other. I mean, I love that line from Max Muncy where he told Brent Honeywell, you won us game 6. You won us game 6. Because he took down 4 2/3 and he saved the Dogs. The Dogs were in the cage, ready for game 6, and it certainly worked out. So I do want to see, as far as the roster goes, if Alex Vesia and Brusdar Graterol are back, potentially, I do want to see Brent Honeywell stay on this team. I think Ben Kasperius, though, the way that they've shown, I think what you could do is I think you leave Ben Kasperius on potentially, because, I mean, anytime they use a guy in the second inning of a clincher in a tight game, that shows you how they feel about his stuff, and his slider certainly plays up and his fastball does as well. You can replace Landon Knack and Henriquez with Brusdar Graterol and Landon Knack, and you mix those. So you got subtracting Knack, you subtract Henriquez, and you put Brusdar and Vesia back on the roster, and then you leave Brent Honeywell, because Honeywell wasn't available yesterday, but he certainly had his fingerprints all over this win for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I love me some Brent Honeywell. What are you guys' thoughts on Brent Honeywell, man? Are you guys as obsessed with him as I am? We got MM Forever 199. What will the pitching rotation be for the series? That's from MM Forever. It's a really good question, because you have a great opportunity now with this rest to completely reset your rotation. You can reset your rotation, and you can put guys in a spot where you say, okay, who do we feel better about at home in the first 2 games, knowing you're going on the road in a hostile environment at Yankee Stadium, and who do you want to throw in those spots? I mean, Walker Buehler, though, was not used in game 7, and he will be on 8 days rest, right? Do you go on with Walker Buehler in game 1? I think the way he pitched with the swing and miss that was there, that'd be interesting. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, you saw how well he pitched against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, but 1, that's the regular season. 2, Juan Soto's back in that lineup. So I wouldn't take anything away from that if we're being completely honest. Jack Flaherty on 9 days rest. And then, so I really think I would prefer to see one of the more experienced starters start in game 3 on the road, and that's either Walker Buehler or Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty did not have his fastball command. He did not have the secondary stuff. He didn't have the velo. So I would lean towards going Jack Flaherty in game 3 and then going Walker Buehler in game 1 and then Yoshinobu Yamamoto in game 2 and then TBD, aka bullpen in game 4. Game 5, you could also go Buehler on 4 days rest potentially. Yamamoto, you could get him to 5 days rest in game 6, and then Flaherty on 4 days rest in game 7. So obviously this is all assuming it's going to be a long series. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's a shorter series than that. But I do think Buehler and Yamamoto games 1 and 2, Jack Flaherty in game 3, and bullpen in game 4. So I think that's a possibility as well. It depends on how they feel about Buehler though. If they think that, okay, he's more the guy that's struggled for most of the season and we're a little afraid of the home run balls, because that's the thing about Walker Buehler is he struggled keeping the ball in the yard this season. Do you say go Yamamoto game 1? That's a tough spot for him, but they put him in game 5 in the NLDS, and he's their $325 million man. But right now I kind of like Walker Buehler in game 1. I really do. Rested, lots of confidence. You don't want him to go too many days without pitching as well. So I kind of tend to lean towards that. We got some kind of wonder for. We got 199 super chat. The Dodgers postseason has me stress eating tortas. That's a fire take. I don't know about you, man. I'm feeling pretty. For me, I'm like a fifth. It's weird. I'm like half nervous AF, half extremely confident. I mean, I have never felt this confident about a Dodgers team. At the same token, it's still postseason baseball at the end of the day. So yeah, it's definitely something you got to really put yourself through. But then look, I mean, the rewards are great. You feel like you feel after that win yesterday, all the excitement. We got some kind of wonderful 499. The dogs need a t-shirt. Love Brent Honeywell. He was DFA'd and stayed with us, and he's an important piece. How can you not be romantic about baseball? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brent Honeywell is a invaluable piece of this team, but I totally agree. I mean, the fact that he did stay with this team after getting DFA'd, it shows you the professionalism and the fact that he wanted to be on this roster and be in this organization when, of course, he had some other opportunities out there, but he realized that, hey, with this team, they also brought the best out of him, right? If he was this good for the Pirates, he wouldn't have been DFA'd. So the Dodgers have also gotten the best version of Brent Honeywell as well. So I think it's important to remember that. Now, next big, so let's read some more comments here. Bilal K, very simple path to 2024 championship. Yamamoto game 1, Flaherty game 2, Buehler game 3, bullpen game 4, Yamamoto game 5, Flaherty game 6, Buehler game 7, Dodgers in 6 after 2 Yamamoto wins. That's from Bilal K. Look, I mean, that's an interesting possibility as well. The thing about that is you give Buehler a lot of days off. And you talk to these guys, they're very routine oriented. They have to continue to pitch to maintain their buildup. And sure, you could get away with that. And depending on how you fare in games 1 and 2, yeah, a Walker Buehler in game 3, because of the experience there, the fact that, yeah, he fared well in cold weather in New York, it's something to consider. And I wouldn't necessarily be against that. But I also think too is, look, that version of Walker Buehler that we saw against the Mets could be very effective against the Yankees. And Jack Flaherty, he got roughed up against the Mets. And the velo was down. And he's dealt with a back injury throughout the season. And there's also the fact that he's thrown a ton of innings as well. So I was not very inspired by his last start. And of course, he pitched well in game 1 of the NLCS. He had 7 scoreless against the Mets. So if he can recreate that, you feel good about that. And Yamamoto, I think I would love to see Yamamoto in a home start. I think that's something that I want to see. So I think I'd lean towards Buehler in game 1 and Yamamoto in game 2. And then Jack Flaherty, he can redeem himself on the road because he is experienced. But look, the truth of the matter is this offense has to pick up where it left off. And that's going to be a big key. But look, there's not a ton of options, right? Because of all the injuries to this rotation. You don't have your ace in Tyler Glass now, and Gavin Stone and Clayton Kershaw and Bobby Miller and all these names. River Ryan would have been a part of this. So you got to make do with what you have. Now, other big takeaway is Dave Roberts deserves to be the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers as long as he wants to be. And I know I'm going to have to duck right now because you guys are going to throw something at me for saying that. But the truth of the matter is Dave Roberts has reached a level with this group where there's no way, one, you're going to fire him depending on anything that happens. They get swept by the Yankees, he's still going to keep his job, right? They're not going to get swept, okay? But I think what you've seen with Dave Roberts is he has evolved as a manager. He's always had the personality. He's always had the energy. He's always had the ability to inspire guys. But now he has better feel for situations. He has better feel when to go out there and get the ball and put it in a better guy's hands for that spot. Going for a 6-out save for Blake Trinan yesterday, that was always the move. You trust that veteran in that spot. Going to Blake Trinan when he did. And look what Brent Honeywell said. He said, the reason why I went out there and I was wearing it, and look, Landon Knack wore it. Jack Flaherty wore it. Brent Honeywell wore it. And they did it for that reason. What did Brent Honeywell say? He said, I did it because I love my teammates. I love Doc. It'd be one thing if he just said he loved his teammates, also said he loved Doc. And I can tell you from talking to these players again about Dave Roberts, they all really like playing for this guy. They all feel like he brings the best out of him. And I think, too, just put this into perspective, how much things have changed. Less than 2 weeks ago, the Dodgers were on the brink of elimination. They were on the brink of elimination in the NLDS against the Padres. And since then, used a bullpen game in Game 4 to stave off elimination and used a bullpen game to advance in the NLCS to take on the Yankees. And the big reason why you did that was because of the moves that Dave Roberts made, and the players went out there and they performed, right? If the pitcher doesn't go out there and make pitches, Dave Roberts doesn't look as smart. So the truth is, I think that, sure, you probably blame Dave too much for losses, and you might give him too much credit in wins, but I also think, too, that you can't put an analysis on what he means to this clubhouse and how he brings the best out of young players, veterans, and the likes. And he keeps guys completely locked in, and the buy-in is always there. But just let's look at this from what could have transpired in the last week. Dave Roberts has gone from a guy that could have potentially lost his job, could have potentially gotten fired if they lost to the Padres. He's gone from that. I mean, at the very least, if they had kept him, he would have been firmly on the hot seat. He would have been firmly on the hot seat had the Dodgers had lost to the Padres, even though they were decimated by injuries. Just the truth of the matter is, you lose in the NLDS the third straight year with this amount of talent. Sometimes you just got to make a move to make a move. But he's gone from that, a manager that was close to maybe losing his job, was close to maybe being on the hot seat, to a manager that's 4 wins away from, in my opinion, going to Cooperstown. He's 4 wins away from no Dodger player ever wearing the number 30 again. And it's not because of Maurice Wills, it's because of Dave Roberts. And Dave Roberts wears 30 because of Maurice Wills, right? So essentially, we're getting 2-for-1 retirement number on that one. So to think that we could go from that to Dave Roberts being in a position where you give him a lifetime contract, I don't know, you say we'll have you around as long as you want to be around, that's where we're at. You can say fire Dave Roberts in the comments all you want, but the truth of the matter is he beats the Yankees. He has this job as long as he wants it, and he's going to the Hall of Fame. Now, what organization out there would be dumb enough to fire a Hall of Fame manager? What organization would be dumb enough to do that, right? I mean, the truth of the matter is, if you do believe that Trastros cheating was the reason why they didn't win in 2017, doesn't he already have a World Series in your book? Does he already have multiple World Series in your book? So, yeah, Dave Roberts certainly deserves a lot of love that he's getting. And look, I know we're just one game away from a bad decision and people jumping on Doc and all that stuff, but the truth is he's won 4 pennants now. 4 pennants. If he beats the Yankees, he's already tied Tommy Lasorda for World Series wins. I mean, you got Walter Austin, and Walter Alston certainly is still the right up there when it comes to Dodgers' success as a manager. But you got to feel really good about this for Dave Roberts, man. I really, truly think he's not the same guy in 2017, in 2018, and 2019 that he is now. I don't think he cares about narratives. I don't think he cares about going to Clayton Kershaw in Game 5 against the Nationals to try to have this moment. I don't think that's a big deal for him. I don't think that he's afraid to take the ball from guys He does what he wants, and he does it decisively and affirmatively. So, yeah, give Davis credit, man. I mean, the bullpen game worked. It worked. And it worked even though they gave 5 runs. It doesn't happen. It's very, very unique. But let me know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on Dave Roberts? Have your opinions changed on him? And look, I'll tell you from talking to people in this organization, talking to people around baseball, no, Dave Roberts doesn't sit in a room all by himself and make the lineup. He does not do that. He does not do that. He doesn't sit in a room and just say, okay, when this pitcher allows a couple runners on base, I'm taking him out now. No, he has a lot of information that helps him make decisions. Okay. It's a very collaborative effort. He is a conduit to the front office in a lot of ways in the baseball analytics and development department, but he does a really good job in doing that. So you got to give him a lot of credit. But yeah, let me know down below in the comment section. How about that too? You got a UCLA guy versus a USC guy. Aaron Boone. He's from, where's Aaron Boone from? Like La Mesa, California. Yeah. You got that. And then you got UCLA versus USC.
Garrett Cole too. He went to UCLA.
Yeah, he's a UCLA guy too, man. Well, they Dodgers try to get him, man. We'll see what they get from Garrett Cole, man. He's had his ups and downs too.
Yes, sir. Yankee fan forever, then and now, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I know. Get that stupid sign out of here. But yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, other big takeaway for this postseason series is, look, I mean, this is a franchise that did not go with the whole, okay, postseason is a crapshoot. The whole postseason is a crapshoot thing. They threw out the window. That was the philosophy they used for so many years, right? The Dodgers didn't play the cards they were dealt. They changed their cards for this season. You went out there and you made big moves to fill holes. And Andrew Friedman said it after the game, saying, look, we like to do our work in the offseason, right? We like to go out there. Anything we need to address, we go and do it. We need a starting pitcher, we go out there and get Glasnow, and we go out there and get a Yamamoto. What happens? Glasnow gets injured. You need another starter, so you go get the best starter available in Jack Flaherty, who has been a big reason why you've gone this far in the postseason. You need to fix your bullpen because your bullpen needs another high-leverage reliever. Well, what do? You not only trade for Michael Kopech, you take Michael Kopech, who had not been living up to his potential in baseball hell, that is the Chicago White Sox, and you turn him into one of the most dominant relievers in the sport. And then there's the Tommy Edman. Tommy Edman, the acquisition of Tommy Edman could go down as one of the most underrated in-season acquisitions that we've ever seen. I mean, you talk about someone that hadn't even played in a big league game, someone that was still rehabbing from a wrist surgery, and he goes to the Dodgers, and you're like, well, what do we do with Tommy Edman? Well, we don't even get to see him right away because he has to rehab. Then he comes in, wasn't lighting it up right away. Then he had that game where he had 2 home runs, followed that game with another 2 home run game. And you're like, oh my goodness, what is Tommy Edman? And then he solidified center field. Then you plug him into shortstop when Rojas goes down, and then he wins the NLCS MVP. So you got those 3 pickups plus Anthony Banda. You find him. He was with the Guardians. They gave up on him. He has success with the Dodgers. Brent Honeywell on the Pirates. They gave up on him. He had success with the Dodgers. Dating back to last season, Ryan Brazier, Red Sox gave up on him, having success with the Dodgers. Evan Phillips, Rays gave up on him. He had success with the Dodgers. Michael Kopech, they're like, we don't really want you. You have all this talent in the world, but you haven't realized it. You're a failed starter. We didn't want you. I mean, this has been a player rehab as far as turning their career around from top to bottom. I mean, Blake Trinan was a reclamation project at one point. After being one of the best relievers with the Oakland A's, the Dodgers took a flyer on him heading into the 2020 season, and he's been with this organization ever since. Daniel Hudson's career was basically over with the knee injuries. He comes back. So people act like the Dodgers just bought all their players, but the truth is they're built, they're not bought, and the money that they did spend, they've used it in a very strategic way. Look, sometimes no one's going to DFA a Shohei Ohtani, right? No one's going to DFA a Mookie Betts or a Freddie Freeman. Sometimes you got to pay up, man. You got to spend big, and they certainly did that when they needed to, but they've combined all of these things to make what they have now: homegrown, free agency, reclamation projects, player development, and boom, you have the best run organization in Major League Baseball. So my big takeaway on this team for how they constructed their roster this season is they didn't say at the deadline, you know what, it's the postseason. You get a ticket to the dance, you get hot, maybe you win. They say, you know what? No. We're going to get Flaherty. We're going to get Tommy Edman. We're going to get a Michael Kopech. And we are going to make a run of this thing with what we have. And they certainly have done that. So give credit to this organization, man. It truly has been a legendary year. I mean, if the Dodgers go on to win this season, this World Series, one, they will have done it when their roster is outperforming the expectations of their roster based on what they have. And then two, this is going to be studied. If you're a major market, if you're New York, if you're Chicago, if you're Boston, if you are San Francisco, or any team that's willing to spend big, you will have to study this offseason for the Dodgers and the in-season moves that they made, because they've proven that you can't just win by going out there and signing the best names available. You have to scout and identify talent along the way that other teams can't identify. And the truth is, Andrew Friedman and Brandon Gomes and the player development department, they can spot talent out of a window of a moving train. And that was evidenced again this season. But a couple more comments here. The infamous El Guapo, Dodgers in 5, but would be surprised if they win it in 5. Would be great to win at Dodger Stadium. Yeah, they haven't won a World Series at Dodger Stadium since 1963 when they swept the Yankees. Alex Ochoa, I love Freddie Freeman, but it was true. Mookie said that when they play without him, Freddie, they win. Yeah, he was just joking with that one. I mean, come on now. But, I mean, look, I think that for me, you miss Freddie's bat. At this point, he's basically going to give you singles, not walking that much. It's Freddie Freeman, though. I mean, look, I want to see the Dodgers' big three against their big three. But still, the Dodgers are okay at this point knowing you can get offense. I mean, look, a lot of guys that were struggling this season have turned it on. Will Smith, Max Muncy, Gavin Lux, I think is due for a nice series against the Yankees. I think you look at Andy Pages hitting 2 home runs in a game. I mean, Chris Taylor, who would you say, BC, that the only way that Chris Taylor can help the team is by retiring? He set up the top of the lineup yesterday, had a couple of hits. You can't find a guy that doesn't have their fingerprints on this postseason run. We got to Ricky Vasquez. Let's be honest, the Dodgers have had a tougher path to the World Series than the Yankees. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think that's even debatable when you look at that. The Dodgers, they have had to go through a team that a lot of people picked to win the World Series in a short series and a really hot Mets team. But at this point, it doesn't really matter, really. I mean, that Yankees team certainly has their issues, and we're going to spend a whole day talking about it. I will say kind of some early thoughts on the Yankees and just kind of leading into that series is it's going to be a different experience than the series against the Mets. I mean, because you truly have some of the best players in the game, but they're similar in a lot of ways. But as far as the postseason goes, I mean, you look at the Dodgers, they're hitting 251, 785 OPS. Yankees hitting 237, 760 OPS. The Dodgers, though, with runners in scoring position, we've always begged, please, just get the big timely hits. Please, don't strand runners on second. The Dodgers have hit 311 with runners in scoring position this postseason. The Yankees have hit 181. The Dodgers have been a much more clutch team this time around. And you also look at strikeouts per game, though. The Dodgers, they do it with soft contact sometimes. They do it by missing barrels. And the Yankees are a team that's averaging 9 strikeouts per game. The Dodgers, 7.3 runs per game. And the interesting thing, too, is when the Dodgers are behind. So it's going to be a big keys. And we're going to spend a lot more time on the Yankees in depth this week. When the Dodgers are behind, they haven't been great. A 717 OPS when the Dodgers are trailing in a game this postseason, hitting 234. When the Yankees are behind, though, they're never out of it. An 836 OPS when they're trailing. So you got to really pile on runs and keep that offense at bay any way you can. Also, too, with a runner on first base, the key is to keep runners off base as much as possible. You have to have clean innings as much as possible. You're not going to go 2 for 9 if you're the Yankees against this Dodgers bullpen, right? Because there's just a more talented lineup. With the runner on first base this postseason, the Yankees have a 927 OPS. The Dodgers, a 685 OPS. So that is a really, really big key in that situation. Kind of the big question marks. Look, you know what you're going to get from Ohtani and Betts at this point. I feel good about that. But did Teoscar turn his postseason around after he had a really nice NLDS? Slump for most of the NLCS? Is Teoscar Hernandez back? Will the magic of Tommy Edman continue, right? Will it be a Rosario series like we saw in 2021 with the Braves, where he kind of peaks then? Or is he kind of like the Dodgers' Jeremy Pena with the Astros, where Jeremy Pena caught fire and was able to have a ton of success, right? I mean, when will he regress to the mean? Or is this just who Tommy Edman is? As all of a sudden he's an elite hitter, NLCS MVP. But I do think the good thing is, like I said earlier, the big difference between these two teams is what's been proven so far is the Dodgers don't need 100% Ohtani and Betts to carry them. The flip side, though, if they're not getting production from Stanton, Judge, and Soto, they're not going to win this series. They need all those guys to show up. They need all those guys to put up big numbers. And you just look at the Dodgers lineup in general, it's a deeper lineup. When you consider Will Smith and Max Muncy, the way they're seeing the bat, Tommy Edman, Kike, Andy Paez, Gavin Lux. I mean, that really is the difference there. I wonder if Alex Verdugo is going to get a question about him calling the Dodgers World Series in 2020 a 60 gamer when he tried to dismiss that. I'm just curious. It'd be interesting to see if he was answered any of those questions. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great series. It's going to be a great series. It's going to be electric. It's going to be fireworks. Both these teams have a ton of talent, but I do think that the Dodgers have some advantages. The Yankees have some advantages. I do want to see the base running be an advantage for the Dodgers. I mean, that's definitely an area where they have a lot of success throughout this series. But yeah, an incredible Game 6. Dodgers win. And a couple more. You've got Givon Bach, Vesia, and Kyle Hurd for Floro is crazy. Yeah, I mean, seriously. Dylan Floro, he's had some ups and downs, but yeah, I mean, Kyle Hurd, the way he's pitched, and Alex Vesia has turned into one of the best left-handed relievers in the sport. Keep it moving. Aside from Trinan, Casperius look cool as a cucumber on the mound. He's got the Dodgers Dugout Live karma too, so that's cool. Daniel Clark, D-Mac, Mookie stepping up, silenced the critics, and was a major boost in morale, in my opinion. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it trickles down. When your best players play well, it takes pressure off the middle of your lineup, and those guys can go out there and have success because of it. We got Hey Bro, Truth Speaker. Judge has been getting carried by Soto and Stanton. Yankees fans were slandering Ohtani earlier in the postseason versus the Padres. They haven't said anything about Judge barely having a 700 OPS. Yeah, I mean, look, it happens. Superstars, some are just one at bat away, right? I mean, that's kind of the big thing with this team. That's the thing about baseball. I mean, you're one at bat away from going on a run. Look, the Mets were one swing away from getting into that game yesterday. They just didn't get it. Aaron Judge is someone who I wouldn't go that route and talk about his OPS because as soon as we start talking about it, watch him hit a 3-run home run and him catch fire, right? It's baseball. It's a small sample size, and these guys are all talented, and they have the ability to come up in big spots. But yeah, Aaron Judge, I mean, he's certainly not Kike Hernandez, right? In the postseason, I'll tell you that much. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. We're going to be doing wall-to-wall, 24/7, 365 Dodgers World Series content, pre-game, post-game, Dodgers Dugout Live interviews. Tony Taters is be cooking up all the great videos, all the highlights, everything you could ever want. The post-games from the national broadcast, the pre-games, all that great stuff. Noel's going to be cooking on that as well, and social media. So definitely follow us on X, Instagram. Also subscribe to the channel, guys. It's going to be exciting. We'll probably work some giveaways in. I'm just saying. So, hey, this is a great time to be a Dodgers fan. We are in Dodgers blue heaven right now. One really legendary stuff. I mean, you get to see your Los Angeles Dodgers, the two blue bloods, the two marquee franchise in baseball going at it on the big stage. It is going to be electric. If you're not going to the game, which I know a lot of people aren't because tickets are going for like $10 million, get those kidneys on Craigslist if you want to go. But also, if you want to bet on the game too, if you want to go out there and take advantage of a great game to play during the game, you got to go to Underdog Fantasy, man. Do you guys play Underdog Fantasy? I've really gotten into it in the last couple of months. I mean, Underdog Fantasy is where it's at. So let me cook that up really quick. But let's read some comments. Victor Bonios, hi D-Mac. I'm confident that our starting pitching would do a little bit better. I mean, look, it's going to be a situation where some of those guys are going to have to go through some rocky starts, right? And at the end of the day, the thought of them going out there and just pitching shutouts is a little unrealistic. But I think at this point, with the way this offense is swinging the bats, I do think I'm very curious to see how Walker Buehler fares. Because if Walker Buehler continues this run, I mean, I think he's going to get himself in a great position to sign a new deal with a new team. So he's got a lot on the line for him. And we'll see if Yoshinobu Yamamoto can pitch like that $325 million man. But yeah, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy. Take a swing at Pick'em this baseball season on Underdog. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog. I personally had a great time on Underdog so far this year, and it's really simple to use and take a look at stats and projections for my favorite players. This week, I'm taking higher than 207.5 passing yards on Josh Allen and higher than 54.5 rushing yards on Breece Hall. Underdog is super easy to play, and it's even easier to get started. Go to their easy-to-use mobile app or to use UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code DNP, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first Pick'em entry, plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code DNP to claim your new customer special of a mystery player pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 plus, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Are you concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. But yep, guys, thanks for rocking with us here on Dodgers Dugout Live. Take this day. I know you've been through a lot. Rest up, because it is going to be a busy next couple of weeks. Your Dodgers in the Fall Classic against the Yankees, but it's going to be an exciting week here at Dodgers Nation. But my name is Doug McKain. Follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue.